Freshman at McGill was if you don't study, you fail. And I failed French. First time I ever tried to learn the language, I failed it. Actually, I had to go to summer school for it. I never thought I could learn another language. And then I was sent to Rome, Italy to study theology. And I was really fortunate. I got to learn Italian really well. And then, God bless me, I got to go to Spain for 1 week. And I was staying with the seminarian friends of mine from Spain. And the mother was a beautiful lady, a wonderful mother, had many children, 2 of her boys from the seminary, 2 ordained priests. And her mother, she spoke only Spanish, and so I did my best with my Italian and her Spanish, but I noticed she called me something. Instead of calling me my name in Spanish would be Pablo, she called me Pablito, which in Spanish is a way of, you make something small to make it more endearing. So, like if somebody really likes me in the parish, they don't just call me padre, they call me padrecito, which means little priest, or we like you a lot, you know? The reason I mention that to you is because the first words of our Blessed Mother Mary to Juan Diego were these words. Listen to me now. Juanito, hijito mío, which means little John, my dearest son. And I thought about that. I want you to just know something. When our Lord, and everywhere we go we have one of these, when our Lord was dying on the cross, we put a little robe on him, but he didn't. He was completely naked. He was stripped of everything. He had no human dignity left. He had no worldly possessions. He had nothing to give as an inheritance. The only thing he gave to us was a woman whose name was Mary. When he said, disciple, behold your mother. Woman, behold your son. Notice, look at me. Notice he didn't say, John, behold your mother. He said disciple, which means everyone from that moment to this moment who is a disciple of Jesus, whether they know it or not, we happen to know it, has Mary as their mother. So she has a name for you. Just like she called Juan Diego, Juanito, she has a special name for every one of you, and for me too, because she loves us dearly. And Mary's only job was and is to bring Jesus into the world. So if you have a devotion to Mary, if you love Mary, if you're close to Mary, you will be close to Jesus. It's what happened to me when I was a freshman in high school. I became devoted through the rosary, my own self, not with my family. I became devoted to our Blessed Mother, and still I'm devoted to Our Dear Lady. I love her so much. And I'm going to tell you one little last story, and stick with me. This might sound a little corny, but I'm going to tell it to you anyway. I had the same spiritual director, priest, from the time I was 15 until the time I was 45. He died when I was 45. For 30 years, he was my spiritual director. And I was already the pastor of St. Margaret, so I was a grown man. And he said to me, do you remember when you were 16, I asked you a question? Who was your best friend? I was 16 at the time. I'm 44 at the time now. I said, Father, I don't remember. He said, I asked you who your best friend was. Do you remember what you said? I said, I don't remember, Father. He said, you said your mother was your best friend. Now, that might sound silly to some, but I guarantee you there's only one woman that's going to step in front of a moving train for you, and that's your mother. There's not 2 people, one person. Not going to think twice about it. You have 2 mothers, and never forget it. You have an earthly mother who's going to take care of you. She's always going to love you no matter what you do. And I've been a priest 30 years, and children do terrible things, and the mothers love them anyway. But you have a heavenly mother. And your heavenly mother is praying for you every second of your life. Every second of your life. Our Blessed Mother is praying for you to worship, adore, and follow her Son. You're being helped, whether you know it or not, by Our Dear Lady. Now, what I would encourage you to do is come to know Lady, the Blessed Mother. Not as some person up there or some statue on a wall, but as a mother who loves you, who has a nickname for you. That's how much she loves you.